Hey friends, TexAgs Rewind presented by Yeti. David Nuno here with the Fan Show guys. We got Matt, we got Chase, we got Hunter, and of course Leanna Davidson there at the News and Social Center. Leanna, what was your favorite part of the show?
You know what it is, David. OB wearing the jersey. That was beautiful.
Oh yeah, wearing the Stephen McGee jersey.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, what was your favorite part of the show today?
This?
Yeah, you guys got to vent a little bit. And
Yeah, I usually
optimistic.
vote for McGee and Swope. I'm going to vote for ourselves today.
Yeah, good job today.
We brought it.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. Well, and also Aaron Torres was on the show, as he mentioned, Swope McGee. You name it, it's TexAgs Rewind.
Bo Nix from Oregon. Yeah, I've kind of been slow to come around on him, but not only has he led Oregon to a 9-1 record, but he's fifth in the nation in passing and in total offense. Has been hot of late, too. In the last two games, which were wins over Cal and USC, terrible defenses, by the way, he passed for 798 yards and 8 touchdowns. Overall, 3,135 passing yards with 29 touchdowns. He's also rushed for 121 yards and 5 touchdowns.
Can I give you credit on something? I feel like I'm giving you a lot of credit.
What's
today.
that?
You are not one of those sports guys that once you make your opinion, you don't change it, right? Like, for a while, you were anti-Bo Nix, but he's proven his worth to you
Over the long haul.
Over the long haul.
I still question the caliber of defenses they're playing in the Pac-12.
Sure, that can be, but at the end of the day, you can't. The stats are the stats,
Yeah.
and it's not. What's his name? The dude at Hawaii years back that was putting.
Colt Brennan,
and what was it?
Timmy Chang.
Timmy Chang, yeah.
Yeah.
It looks different than that for sure. Go ahead.
Number 2, I'm putting Michael Penix, the Washington quarterback.
Dropped it too.
Yeah, I did. He's still the nation's leading passer. Last week, 332 yards and 2 touchdowns in a 35-28 victory over Utah. He also ran in a touchdown. He's exceeded 300 passing yards in 8 games. He's passed for 3,533 yards and 28 touchdowns.
If they get into the playoffs, well, I guess when do votes for Heisman have to go in?
Typically the Monday right after the conference championship games.
Okay. So we'll know if they're in the playoffs at that point.
Yeah. I think that at some point, though, to eliminate somebody because their team isn't necessarily that great, because it's an individual award.
It is an individual award, which is why I think Jaden Daniels is your number one.
Jaden Daniels, number 1. Look, the trophy goes to the most outstanding player. Well, did you see that what he did in that 52-35 victory over Florida? He became the first quarterback in FBS history to pass for at least 350 yards and rush for at least 200 yards in a game.
I think in retrospect, I think at the time when we signed him, it felt like, I remember I was sitting in this very seat and I was like, oh, if Jimbo leaves to go to LSU, it'd be catastrophic for our program. Like, who do you go get at that point? Because you knew a lot of your good candidates probably weren't going to leave. And so there's the understanding side of it, but I think that the contracts for coaches have become so, what's the word? Astronomical, but
ridiculous.
But A&M's kind of caused
backwards.
that.
Yeah, and I think we've kind of we did kind of set the bar there, and I don't know. I just feel like sports in general should be incentive based, and I think a lot of athletes. I think you look at a track and field athlete, for instance, their contracts, they get paid by Nike or Adidas or whoever to be number 1 in the world. When they fall to 2 or 3, their pay goes down 50%, 70%.
Mm-hmm.
You're paid to win. And nowadays with NIL, you can't have incentive-based pay, which is ridiculous because that's how the real world works. That's how if they're going to be paid like professional athletes, you got to perform.
See, I don't know. I don't know if Aggies and though I didn't go to A&M, I like to feel like, I'm kind of like a step Aggie. I don't know if they should feel embarrassed or that, or if you should embrace it and say, yeah, you're right, man. It didn't work out, so we got to pay this money. Here, let me reach. This is your response to the nation that's making a big deal. Yeah, let me reach into my front pocket and pull this out and cover this right quick.
Amen. I mean, there's no reason to be embarrassed, right?
Unless you feel.
I'm embarrassed that it's us that set the bar and that we are the ones paying. Not we, I'm not paying a thing, but I also am proud to be like, all right, we made a mistake. We're going to go try to fix it.
I love that I love that our donors are willing to do whatever it takes to win.
Yeah, I'll use an analogy that maybe makes sense, maybe won't. So Scott Frost at Nebraska, okay, and I'll get back to Jimbo. If you remember, the year before he ultimately got fired, they went 3-9, and I think they lost 8 of the games by 1 touchdown or less. And they were so close, couldn't get over the hump. And maybe I'm a little biased. I'm of that age where I remember Scott Frost as a player. I was hoping after that 3-9 year, give him one more year, it'll get figured out. You can't keep losing these close games. And then, if you remember, last year they came back and played in week 0, played Northwestern. I think ended up winning 1 game the entire year. They were up, and then all of a sudden they fell apart and ended up losing in the final minute. And when he came back that next year and it was the same thing, I just said, man, I wanted this to work. It would have been a cool story for college football. It's not going to work. It's time to go. And so with Jimbo, I think I was, like a lot of people probably listening, I kind of made the excuses, right? Well, they're close. They're on the edge. Last year, it's injuries. You're down to your third string. Wigman's thrown into the fire as a true freshman. Even the Miami game, we'll see. And then you start to build some momentum against Arkansas and Auburn and whatever. And I really think that Alabama game, and we talked about it at the time, but the little things, they just didn't look well. First of all, the punt, which we've talked about, but then the red zone stuff where they didn't even look well coached. And you're like, dude, you're getting paid $9 million a year, and it's stuff that shouldn't be happening, period. But it's a lot of the same results that we were seeing in year 1 and year 2. And so I had a Scott Frost vibe where when you started to see it against Bama, against Tennessee, you start to wonder, like what is the reason you think this is going to change? Now, I'll be blunt. I still thought he would get to next season. I was obviously wrong. But when it happened, like you said, you feel bad because not only did Jimbo lose his job financially, he's going to be fine. But on top of that, there's obviously a lot of people in that building whose futures are uncertain, or players, coaches, whatever. But should the move have been made? Yeah, I believe it should have been. And I guess I wasn't ultimately that surprised when the news did become official.
Who is a no for you? Like
Deion Sanders.
Okay, let's all go around the room and give our whys and who they are.
Hell no. Absolutely not. Like, you couldn't get me back on this show if he was the head coach here.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Because Billy wouldn't let me back on.
That's good because I agree with Coach Lanning on that one. They're going for clicks. We're going for wins.
I love that.
That's what you feel about Deion. Mine was Dabo. I mean, that's like Jimbo Part 2, right?
Yeah.
So he's on the decline at his current school. There's some unhappiness there, and then
he's not evolving.
No.
I mean, they just took my only two.
You got to give your reasons.
So similar for both. I agree with Dabo. Even though I really like Dabo, I actually do. I think Dabo seems like a good guy.
I love Dabo.
I think Dabo is a guy, but he would need to change his philosophy.
And we don't need to go from a coach that didn't change to one that we expect to change.
Yeah. I mean, that's exactly right. I mean, so Deion brings stuff that, I mean, I know a lot of people somebody wants to say Urban Meyer. I can't say that because I think Urban Meyer would be a home run. I just do. I'm sorry. I know. I think he would though. The guy is just that guy that he'll do whatever it takes to win. Now, I'm not saying that I want Urban Meyer.
Right. You're saying he would win.
I'm saying that if we hired Urban Meyer and he could be on his best behavior and not embarrass us and not do just scummy things, then I would love Urban Meyer. I'm just saying.
Look, I'm getting long in the tooth. I think age changes people, and when you're 35 and 40 and you want that nugget and you're willing to do anything to go chase it, that's different than when you're 65. Right? It's just he's not going to have it. And then we've seen too many people just come here and get fat and rich sitting in the A&M head coaching job, right?
Yeah,
literally.
But you would think the same.
You
would think that somebody like Saban, who's gotten to that age, who's done everything you could possibly do, he can do no wrong at this point.
Chase, tell the people what to do.
Well, we're going to subscribe because we're trying to get to 12,000 followers.
We'd like to get to 100,000, but yes.
Right
Where
now,
are we now? Are we at 12,000 yet?
We're about to be.
We're like 40 away. Come on, people.
like, share, subscribe, comment.
And tell your friends.
And tell your friends.
We'll see you next time. Thank you.